So today I'm going to be showing you how to make one of my favorite things to cook in the summer and fall. It's a brisket. It takes about 8 hours, and I do it over my smoker, which is my all-time favorite way to cook, especially when it comes to grilling season. I love smoking food, so usually I'll do briskets, I'll do ribs, I'll do other things like that, but briskets are by far my favorite, and so I'll be showing you how I go about doing that. So first thing I need to do is get the fire started. I got to get the coals nice and hot, then I'll start throwing on the wood. Wood today that I'm choosing to go with is cherry wood, so that usually gives the meat a nice sweeter flavor. It's not as bitter, and it cooks a little bit slower, so I can let it go for a little bit longer, which turns the meat a little bit more tender. So first thing we'll need to do is get the coals nice and hot. So I'm going to let this go for about 10 minutes. So while this is warming up, I'm actually going to clean out the cooking chamber of the smoker here and get it ready for cooking. So that's the next step. Alright, so we are ready to go ahead and start putting some of the wood on. Here's where I store all my cherry wood. So we'll go ahead and get some of the smaller sticks on so we can get a nice smaller fire going. The temperature we're actually aiming for is a nice steady 220 degrees, so the meat will actually cook on that for about 8-10 hours, and then we're going to be ready to eat. Our cooking temperature was actually at 225 degrees. Right now it dropped a little bit because I just put the meat on, but we want to keep it around 225. So there's what my fire looks like at the moment. I closed the air intake a little bit to kind of choke it off. We want a nice smoke, but here's what we're cooking with so far. So you didn't get to see this, but when I put the brisket onto the smoking chamber, I actually flipped it upside down so that the fatty part of the meat is on the top side. So as it's cooking, the fat is actually going to slowly melt through the rest of the meat and keep it nice and moist and nice and tender. So I won't actually have to do too much work other than keeping the fire fed, keeping a nice smoke going, and just kind of continuously checking for about the next 8 to 10 hours. So we're going to hopefully keep the lid closed for the most part, just to make sure we're not losing too much of the heat, not losing too much of the smoke, and we'll continuously check in. So brisket's done. So what I got to do now is I need to wrap it up in foil. Gosh, look at that. That's good. Yeah, get a close up on this. Look at that. Oof. Okay, you know what? We gotta cheat a little bit. Let's look at it. Ooh. I don't want to brag, but this is looking mighty good. Falling apart. I gotta cheat a little bit. Oh, yeah, that is good. Cool. All right, that's a relief. Okay, temperature's up to 100. Okay, you know what? Hold up. I gotta eat some more of this. Man, I did good. All right. So, like I was saying, temperature's got to get up to 190 degrees. I don't want to cut too much yet. I don't want it to lose too much of its juice. So what I got to do is wrap it up in foil, wrap it in a towel, put it in a cooler, and then I'll let it sit for about an hour, because what will happen is the fat that is now cooked on top, that gooey layer that you saw when I poked the brisket, will actually start to continue to just like melt into the rest of the meat, and then it's going to become even more tender and juicy. Ooh, that's amazing. Okay, so carefully lift it up. Don't want to break the crust. Put it on the foil. carefully wrap. Usually, I'll have my own barbecue sauce that I like to go along with it. Homemade barbecue sauce. I didn't have the ingredients for that this go around, so I'm gonna have to make do with some store-bought stuff. I'll show you which brand I prefer here in a second. Do I get this up? Don't skimp on the foil. The more insulation, the better, so that it continues to kind of cook and become even more tender. So I'm actually going to use one of our beach towels, wrap it up, add it to the cooler, lots of insulation, then next shot will be eating. Now we got the cooler. I'll show you the two types of barbecue sauce I like to use. First one actually is my favorite. This is gold barbecue sauce. It's mustard based. It is phenomenal. Yeah, get a close up on that. Definitely. There's another one that I'm okay with. This is the Carolina type barbecue sauce. It's average. And then the last one is just pretty typical Famous Dave's. They're a chain, but they're a chain for a reason because they're pretty good.